come
too much.
back on wherever you want to talk.
Yeah, I think that's all in one's auction unless anybody else has a question.
Next.
All right, let's see. Mr. Burns, who is present here today, filed suit against Ms. Edmonds in the 19th JDC. We have a copy of the suit if anybody wants to see. It was a suit filed because of her job here with the state. I forwarded this to the Office of Risk Management, and the Office of Risk Management, that's why I was checking my email, or processing the petition this morning, and they, as I understand it, will be handling the case for the board. The board will not have to pay out any money that's covered by insurance when damage claims are done. So as soon as an attorney is assigned, they will come in and actually file against the case, and that's as much as I know right now.
I have a question. What is he suing her for?
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay, he is suing her. I'll let you read it's a very long petition, and it basically, this is for some reason down the way. It basically says that because she called, or not, because the Arthritis Foundation called the sheriff's office.
That's not in my pleadings.
Well, that's what happened. That is malicious prosecution on the part of Ms. Evans. Basically, then we.
Are you saying that? Are you saying that's what happened?
I can't speak to you about this.
Mr. Burns, I have to recognize you, and I will, when Anna give her report, if you would like to make a statement, I will recognize you.
In any
Please
event.
continue.
He alleges that she called him, basically, I'm not sure how factually correct or not this is. I'm letting someone else make that decision because we will not be handling that case. That will be going through the AG's office. And I don't know if they're going to have the Assistant Attorney General handle it or they're going to basically format it. And let me say, this brings up another matter the board needs to resolve with the
Let me see, you want to make a statement about this other thing before we move?
No, but
Okay.
you know, I don't know whether that was a slip in saying the Arthritis Foundation, telephone the police. All I know is a police report clearly identifies the complainant.
I'm not going to get into the facts. I've seen the police report also.
Well, you just made a pretty definitive statement.
Okay, we're not going to discuss.
Let me ask you a question.
Well, he can tell us why you're suing her.
I will litigate this in court.
What's that?
I said everything I will do will be done through discovery and pleading filings.
You have a question from?
I mean,
Go ahead.
no, I was just thinking about something because I mean, we hearing this. I saw it on the docket.
So what document?
Let me-
On the back of the
Got it.
and I was just questioning, you know, the facts around it. I'm just trying to get a feel of what transpired. I mean, we can't discuss probably none of that, but I'm just trying to see what prompted the police, you know, being called. I'm just, you know.
We can't discuss it. The
We're not gonna,
AG's
you know.
office is.
No, I'm just saying because I mean that was my number one concern.
Well,
Well,
Mr.
what-
Burns has filed a suit, so we can't discuss it as a lawsuit. now.
Okay, did it happen
Yeah,
during working hours or something? I mean, I'm just
I'm
trying.
not, I can't discuss it at all. It's being assigned to the Attorney General's office.
They're
And
gonna
any
handle it.
questions would have to be.
Well, we're not here to try.
I'm just trying to find out why is it on our docket.
Because I have to give you that it happened. That's the only reason it's on there.
And it was
that it's
job,
being-
you mentioned it was job related. So that's why.
That's right,
That's
because
why.
he sued her because of her job here at the board.
Okay.
That's what's in here.
Okay, so your report.
But anyway, that's it. Now, that brings us, and Freddie's comment is sort of important here. Because of the amount of litigation, as you know, that the last suit that Mr. Phillips filed, last time we were here, we just gone to court and the judge had dismissed his amended situation also. So we've had that lawsuit. Mr. Burns had filed an earlier lawsuit. This is his second lawsuit against someone on the board, or affiliated with the board. There's some issues with regard to, all of this going on, with statements made by Mr. Phillips and by Mr. Burns in the litigation that have raised issues with regard to potential disciplinary actions against them. And I think that's understood. I have conferred with the Attorney General's office about this. It is our decision that I cannot handle any disciplinary action against Mr. Phillips or Mr. Burns as licensees, and that the Attorney General's office has given me some names of third-party attorneys to represent the board in these matters, and I have put calls into them, and then they will be, basically, by the time we come back in September, we will have potential attorneys to actually handle these matters for the board.
Well,
That the attorneys may also have to look into the fact of the cost that has been to the board, both Ms. Edmonds having to put together how many public records requests?
Well over 35,
Okay, as well as.
just for Mr. Burns and Mr. Phillips combined.
Okay, and my time and efforts with regard to the lawsuits and potentially any costs that may come as a result of this last one, although it's not been resolved. That should be going also to a third attorney, and also there may be some liability on the part of the board because of Mr. Phillips' activities with regard to this. And I think that the board members should consult with a third attorney, just to be clear, not an attorney general and not me, someone else who is, basically a third attorney. I'll be glad to suggest, I'm going to suggest some people for the administrative procedures that may be in place. I'm going to suggest to the board that and I've gotten clearance from the Attorney General's office for the board or its representatives to meet with an attorney to discuss all of these issues, because I know some of you had questions about all of this. So that,
So do we need to make a motion for this to happen, or we're just gonna?
if you want to make a
Well,
motion,
no.
talk,
it's not on the agenda,
no.
so we can't make, I have a question, that's why I was waiting.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a
You
question.
go ahead. Greg, what do you?
Can't we get a restraining order as a board against people that are suing until these suits are over with?
No.
So they can come to the meetings and do what they want to do, even though we keep getting lawsuits?
They have a right to be at the meetings until such time it becomes so disruptive as to
Yeah.
interrupt the meetings.
Well, what
And-
does that, what details that is disruptive?
No.
Continued lawsuits is not being
Well, no,
disruptive?
usually it's disruptive at the meeting, talking out of
Yeah.
turn, being difficult, etc.
Right. Well, I'd like somebody else's opinion on that.
That's why I'm suggesting to you that you talk to a third.
So in other words, you're telling us it's gonna be September before we can talk to an attorney?
No.
No, the chairman can do, or acting chairman can do that at any time. And that's, with regard to the disciplinary actions, it's going to be September before you can take, you can
I
authorize the
understand
other
that,
attorney to do
I just didn't want us to be in litigation and you not be able to do anything,
No.
and we're not, would be represented,
No,
that's
we
all
will.
I'm
We're
saying.
gonna have a.
This board is here to, to promote auctioneers, protect auctioneers. But every time we turn around, there's hidden agendas here every meeting. It's hard to get the meetings done because there's all these hidden agendas going on.
Well, I mean, everybody else is gone, so you might as well let Mr. Barnes go as well. I mean, I raised my
I said you
hand,
were next.
but I'm saying, you said that after the.
Well, I wasn't
Well,
finished.
you can go, Freddie, it doesn't
Oh, that's
matter.
okay, all right, go ahead.
Are
Mr.
we
Barnes.
12? Do you wanna talk?
Ma'am, that's why I raised my hand. I always do in these meetings, raise my hand before I speak.
So please speak, please.
I was asking Ms. Dow, she said, who you contacted at the Attorney General's office?
What do you mean?
You said you contacted the Attorney
I
General's
talked to
office.
Mr. McKenzie, who is the head of the civil division.
Okay. And will all board members be afforded communication with third-party attorneys?
If it's a disciplinary matter, no. You would just authorize them and that they will talk to.
If so, we all individually would have to talk to the
No.
attorney?
No, he would just investigate whether there's any disciplinary actions which would be appropriate.
Correct,
And
but I
then,
mean,
and then he would follow the normal procedure, he or she, would
Correct.
follow the normal procedure and administrative procedure.
correct. I was just wondering whether or not this was just specifically to certain board members, or this is a board issue that all board members have to be informed on.
You'll be informed, yeah, but y'all have to hire the attorney to do it.
Okay, that's my
Yeah.
second issue.
Mr. Burns, you have a question?
I'm gonna just state one thing about my prior lawsuit. You know, the board had every right to litigate that thing. This boardroom was empty. We were all told to go out there in the hallway, and twice Chairman Coleman told me that I couldn't speak. That's a violation of the Louisiana Open Meetings Law. It clearly says in the statute, anybody who has been aggrieved under that statute can file the suit. I filed the suit, the board settled it. You know, you can talk about legal fees all you want, Greg, and I agree with you, legal fees are a problem. But I can produce emails where I tried to address these issues while I was on the board and got nowhere. So, you know, if you want to paint me out as somebody who's going to come in here and cause, well, that's up to you.
Well, I'm just saying,
But-
we're here about auction business.
Oh,
We're
when
having
you-
to deal
when
with all
you-
these
One
other
at a
things.
time, one
When
at a
you
time.
send the
He's
public,
addressing me.
I know.
when you send, and that's a fair rebuttal, when you send the public out into the hallway and you deny the public the right to speak, and I recognize that has not been done again since, and I would hope the litigation played a role in that. That could have been avoided. I'm not the one who said, Mr. Burns, you are not recognized.
But
I'm
now
not
you
the one
have
who's-
another lawsuit against an
And you
employee
can,
of the board.
and you can read what happened there. And I would tell you, and I'm gonna stop after this, that any licensee in this state who was subjected to what I was subjected to, and you need to read the suit.
We're not gonna
Your
discuss
side of
the
the
suit, we're
suit.
not gonna discuss the suit.
That's what I'm telling him, he needs to read it. I didn't say a
I don't have
word
it.
about the content.
No, it's right, it's right there.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I'll send you an email link
Sure.
with the suit.
Zoom, it's meant to
Okay,
send,
so,
Sure.
I'm sorry, what'd you
no, I just
say?
hope if he's gonna
He was
send,
asking for an
send an
email.
email as well.
But you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what
Let's get back to promoting auctioneer business. That's what we're here
I
for.
mean,
Look, if the police hadn't knocked on my door, followed by the Louisiana State Police the next day, we wouldn't be having this.
Well, see, I'm not aware of none of that. so.
That's why I'm gonna ask you to read it, and I'm gonna send it to you.
Just remember, it's Mr. Burns' version
Yeah.
of what he says happened.
Well, I got a police report in there that part is not Mr. Burns's version.
Robert, let's stick to business at hand, okay. Next,
I think unless somebody has a question, I think that was everything that we need to
so we
talk
don't
about.
need to make a motion on the attorney report.
You just need to
We
approve.
normally
Approve
do
the
a
attorney's
motion
report.
to accept her entire report.
So,
I'll make that motion.
have a motion to accept the attorney's report, do I have a second?
so moved.
I have a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.